Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another BJ&Co Minecraft tutorial video. We're continuing on our Skyfactory 3 achievement book tutorial, showing you everything you guys need to know in order to get your achievements complete and finish this book up. Today we're working on the Age of Machines, and specifically, as requested by our viewers in the last video, we are taking a look at create a refined storage system to store your things. Before we dive into things, if you guys have been finding these series helpful, we'd greatly appreciate you letting us know that by smashing that like button. And if you want updates of when our new content goes live, you can hit that subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell so you do actually get notified. We are making that final push for 1,000 subscribers. That's our next milestone, so we would greatly appreciate any assistance you guys could provide for that. And before we get into this, a big thank you to you, Matthew, again. He's the one that requested the refined storage. We appreciate your comments down below. So those of you that are here, feel free, throw something down there. We'd love to chat with you, see where you have questions, all that jazz, and help you all out. But let's get right on into this. Like I said, we're doing a refined storage system to store your things. As you can see, I've sort of started it already right here, but we've got all the steps laid out to get you going. For this, you can't do this until you've got some sort of power going. So you can see I've got this hooked into my brief power system here, but I am moving over and making a power plant over there because as this grows, it will get stronger and stronger. Now, refined storage. Why would you want refined storage? Aren't a whole ton of chests just fantastic? Well, no. It's a pain to find everything, pain to organize everything. The joys of refined storage is it keeps everything together, all in stacks. It's searchable, so if I'm looking for cobble, I got that. If I'm looking for iron, I can see anything that's possibly got iron in the name here. So it's great to have that. You've also got, if you build your crafting grids here, you can actually craft things directly into here, right from your storage, and it will pull, or I guess let's do this the easy way. I can show you. If you put a single one of each, it will just keep pulling from your system. You can see my redstone number keeps decreasing up there and moving it down. There's also lots of different ways to sort this by ID, quantity, name, ascending, descending, all that sort of fun stuff. So lots of handy things here. The also real neat thing is you can set this to actually automatically craft certain things. So, oh, I'm out of that. And you can also set it, so when you request it, it will craft that for you if you've got the supplies in your system. But you can also set it up so that it will craft things as it needs them to produce other things. So it's a fantastic brains for a fully automated system. But what do we need for this? Well, first things first, we need some way to connect it into your power grid, which is the controller right here. We will then be working towards this solderer, which is a device needed in order to create some of the specific items that you will need in order to get the refined storage up and running. That can only be made through the solderer. You can't craft them elsewise. We'll then be working our way towards the crafting grid like we've got here, which is, and then a disk drive and some disks, which is everything you need for the storage aspect of it. We'll then do a little bit of talk about crafters, pattern grids, and processing pattern encoders to get things going. But first things first, what sort of items are you going to need? These are the items that kind of make up the base crafting on all of this. You've got silicone, redstone, quartz-enriched iron, gold, diamonds, iron, nether quartz, glowstone, and glass. So some of this will be fairly easy to get. You know, your gold, your iron, your diamonds, your redstone, your glass, your nether quartz, your glowstone. That's all can be done from sieving very well. The quartz-enriched iron, you've got options from loot bags. It's also just iron and nether quartz together. And since we have tackled mystical agriculture, you can start gaining some of that essence, getting seeds from them and going. I have specifically gone that route, and my handy dandy, you can see I've got all sorts of essence going on in here. And what I've done to do that, instead of planting a whole bunch of farm, though I will eventually because I love the looks of big farms in Skyfactory, I have used this garden cloche, which allows me to duplicate seeds. So it gives me a second seed of everything, plus an essence for each, and it just keeps, you know, if I clear this out, it will keep spitting some more out for us. So that's a great way to duplicate your seeds, get a whole bunch of essence, and then if you have way too many seeds, as you can see I've got lots in here and I don't quite need them all, take a look at the seed reprocessor and you can just drop them in here and this will spit it out into more essence as it goes along. If I'll see it for a second, yeah, there we go. No, sucked out. So if you guys are interested in knowing how this works, throw a comment down below and I will do a specific video on how to make those, because it does require the coke oven to get some creosote to make treated planks and all that fun jazz. So just a heads up. But I find once you've got that up and running, it's one of the quickest ways to get these items going for the refined. And you will need tons of these, and especially if you want to keep expanding the system with a whole bunch of crafters and everything. The cloches are fabulous for keeping you nice and supplied. But let's get on to the actual thing that you want to get into in here. So, controller. This is the brains of the operation. This is what connects it to everything. And when you click on it, it shows you everything that's connected to your system, how much RS per tick you're actually using. So right now I'm only using 22. So it's a good way to keep updated on your system and where it's at. So first things first, we need a machine block or a machine casing. All that is 8 quartz enriched iron around the outside. Simple and easy. I love that. Now, the actual controller itself, you need that machine casing. You need 4 quartz enriched iron. You need 3 silicones and a diamond. Boom. That is all done there. We've got our controller. So we've got the piece to put down there. Now, power passes through all of these either through direct contact or if we get cables, which we'll deal with a little bit later. So the solderer can be connected right beside here. And like I said, we need the solderer because we need to get these pieces in here, these processors, the printed basic, improved, advanced processors, as well as the basic processor, the improved processor, the advanced processor, and the printed silicon, all need to be made through the solderer, as well as your upgrades. Once you've crafted them, you'll need to use the solderer in order to get the upgrades going onto them, but we will not go into detail about the upgrades. They're just ways to make your system faster and better. Better, faster, stronger. Sorry, getting a little off topic here. So, we're going to grab the solderer. Solderer is, again, pretty simple to make. You just need your 6 quartz enriched iron and 2 sticky pistons. Pistons, fairly easy to make. You just need some cobble, iron, redstone, and planks, and then throw a slime ball on top of them to get the sticky pistons, so that will get us a solderer. Done. What do we need next? Well, next we're looking for a disk drive. And for a disk drive, we need advanced processors. Well, the advanced processors are a little interesting. What we first need is we need to make some of these printed silicon, which is just in the solderer. You drop a silicon in the middle. It will spit it out as a printed silicon. Simple and easy. Next, we need to grab some diamonds. Like I said, diamonds are an important thing in this area. And now you'll kind of notice the advanced processors kind of looks like a printed silicon with a diamond in the middle of it. So we need to stick the diamond in the solderer to get this printed advanced processor. There we go. So now that that's out, we stick it in the top, we put our printed silicon on the bottom, and then redstone in the middle to combine all of it. And you'll see it will do its thing. This will slowly spit itself out. This is where speed upgrades can come in handy because it will significantly speed up this process. And eventually you'll want to automate this process so you're not handcrafting all of these. But there we go. That's how you get an advanced processor. So now that we got that, we can get 2 of these, and that will get us a disk drive. Now, the important thing about refined storage is these disk drives, because this is where you end up putting all your disks. So this is a disk drive here that's completely full. You can see an empty one right there. So in here, we actually have to put different size disks. And there's everything from a nice small 1K storage, which fits 100 or 1,000 items into it right off the bat, all the way up to the fantastic 64K storage, which is eventually what you'll want to push your way to, but they can get fairly expensive. So I like to start small, get myself some storage, get some auto crafting going on and auto importing, and things will go from there. So the next step you need is we need to get these storage disks going on. So first things first, we need to jump into this guy here, and we need these storage parts. So initially there's just a 1K storage part, fairly easy to make. You just need silicone. There's a couple different kinds of silicone. Initially I was using this other one from Ender.io or the silicone from Refined Storage. Both of them work the same, nothing to worry about there. Just need some glass, redstone, and quartz enriched iron to get that piece. Simple, 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 and easy. And now that we have that, this is not a disk though, we can't stick it in. We have to make either a storage housing first, which is again just quartz enriched iron, redstone, and glass. So you can make a bunch of these and just have them blank ready to be filled, or you can just take your storage part, put it right in the middle, and that will give you, now you can see a 1K storage disk. You can see the size of them based on the color that's just right there on them. So orange, then yellow, then green, then blue is the sizes that they are. So that will give us a 1K storage disk. Then you can pop that into your drive, and if it is connected to your system, which this one is not, you can see there's no power to it. If I dropped it beside one of these pieces, it would then be connected. Like I said, the refined storage system communicates through itself very nicely. So if I put it here past the solderer, drop the 1K in, you can now see it. It is actually connected to the system. I've got the little blue dot. The dots on here will actually change as the space fills up, which is kind of cool too. Yellow means that it's running out of space, and red means it's completely full. So now we've got a disk drive. This is ready for storage, but we have no way to access it because we've just got these 3 pieces right now. So to access things, you're going to want this crafting grid, and this lets you access everything plus craft things. So first things first, what we are going to need is we're going to need what's called a grid. We already know how to get the machine casing. The improved processor is the same as getting the advanced processor. You just need gold in the top, so gold, then redstone, then the printed color silicon. These 3 right here. In that solderer, that's no problem. The destruction core, on the other hand, though, is a little bit different, and same with the construction core. If we take a look at these need the basic processor. Similar to the advanced, you just need iron in the top, then redstone, then the printed silicon. And then with a nether quartz, and the construction core is the same basic processor with the glowstone dust. So very easy to make those. Get a bunch of basic processors, and then just add the quartz and glowstone as needed. Machine casing in the middle, which is again simple and easy, and just the 8 quartz around the outside, and then the quartz enriched iron. So that's all we need there. That will get us the grid. The grid itself is only to access what's in here, right? You can pull things out, put them back in. So handy, but 99% of the time I would say it's much better to get yourself a crafting grid, because then you can actually use it to craft. You don't need crafting benches all over the place, that sort of jazz. So that, we just need to take the grid that we just made, throw a crafting table down, and throw another one of those advanced processors, and we now have the crafting grid. And like I said, the crafting grid, once we put it down, it will operate exactly the same as this one here. We can access everything, we can craft everything. Is it gonna, where's my, right? We could craft another machine casing if we wanted. All that fun jazz. So, perfectly, now you're set up. We've got this, we've got all this. We can get all the processors we need, everything's connected, we can look at what's in the system, and we can start making drives. Now drives, if you want to upgrade them, they always require 3 of the previous version of them. So the second one that you go for is a 4K storage part. Well, that takes 3 1Ks. So it does get you nicely an extra K of storage for doing this, so upgrading is good. But it requires the 3. You need 4 of these basic processors, redstone and quartz enriched iron. And as you go up in size, you need higher level of processors. So this starts with basic. The next one will require 3 of the 4K, plus then the improved processor. The 64K will need the advanced processor, and 3 of the 16K. So you can just keep working your way out, up, up, up. And I believe you can also, if you need to, reuse some storage housings. I thought there was a way you could kick them out, but maybe I'm wrong. But the storage housings are cheap. So that is everything you need to know to get the basics of this system set up. If you want to spread it out and start connecting things a bit more, what you're going to need to get your hands on is some of the cables. Cables, again, are pretty cheap. You just need this quartz enriched iron, 2 glass, and a redstone. That gives you 12 cables. And the cables, they will allow you to connect your system together. Again, I'll just, a little bit of a demonstration here. As long as it's on some sort of your system, you can drop it down, and then we can drop a solderer down here, and with some printed silicone, some redstone, and that, you can see it is working perfectly fine, even though it's a little bit further away. Same with the drive down here. I can toss her down, and it's still connected to the system perfectly fine. So cables are a good way of spreading around so that it's not just one big, massive, blocky structure, especially as you get things going on. The next big thing that we're going to want is the crafter. And the crafter, this is the thing that starts getting everything awesome, because you place a crafter down and it will, you can create patterns, which I'll show you in a second how you go about creating patterns. And each one, so this gets me 8 quartz enriched iron essence that as an input, and it will spit out 8 quartz enriched iron. And same here, 9 redstone essence will give me 16 redstone. So I create the pattern, throw it in the crafter, and as long as it's just a crafting pattern in a regular crafting grid, it will spit it out for you as you go ahead and build it like I showed earlier, right? So my quartz enriched iron, I kick it all out, and then I can still craft another 64. And as soon as I hit start, it will just eat it away really quickly and finish it off. Boom, quick and handy. So super important. So in order to get that, the crafter is fairly simple. Just need the advanced processor, so some diamond redstone printed silicone again in the solderer, 4 quartz enriched iron, the machine casing in the middle, which is again simple and easy, and then the destruction and construction core again, which is those basic processors with either glowstone dust or nether quartz, depending on what you're going for, and that spits that crafter out for you. The crafter is friggin' fantastic. I love it. 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 So get your hands on it while you can. Just storing stuff there. But in order to use the crafter, you need to get some patterns going. Now, patterns themselves, you need to start with this right here, which is simple to get: quartz enriched iron, redstone, glass. Not hard at all. That will get you a pattern. You'll then need a pattern with an advanced processor and a grid, which we've shown you how to make a little bit earlier. We'll get you that pattern grid. Now that we've got a pattern grid, we can go over here. And the crafting grid and the pattern grid look very similar. But this pattern grid, all you do is you put your pattern in here. You then look for what you are trying to make. So let's go with a simple and easy one. Let's make ourselves a crafting table. Actually, no, let's not do a crafting table. What am I actually going to need? We're going to go with this. Let's see if I can get this right. Can I get a piston? Boom! I can do it off my mind. So when you put whatever the actual system is there, so the pattern on the left here, it will, if it's the correct pattern, it will show you what it will make. And then all you need to do is you put your blank patterns up here. So like the one we just made, we can toss it up there, and we create the pattern. Now if I mouse over this, it says 1 piston, and if I shift over it, like hold shift while I mouse over it, it shows you what the inputs are and what the outputs are. So this will now give us 1 pattern. We take the pattern over to a crafter that's got some space and drop it into there. Now you can see that this can only do 9 patterns, so you will probably need lots of different crafters. But as soon as you put this in here, we should see that the piston is in here. We can hit craft and get us to make one. It will grab all of the things we need and press start. And there we go. There's our piston there. The interesting thing too, do I have any slime here, is that the crafter will automatically allow things to double up quite nicely. So I'll grab the slime ball here. And so it will craft if it needs multiple things in order to craft. So we're going to just clear out of this. We're going to grab our piston, our single piston here, and our slime ball. And we're going to make the pattern for the sticky piston now too. So we're going to stick the sticky piston crafting recipe in there. And if I pull our piston out, so it would need to craft the piston first and the sticky piston. If I click on the sticky piston, say craft 1, it'll show that to craft 1, it will need to craft one of these first, and it will need all of these resources to go. So if we just hit start, you can see now we have a sticky piston. So we had no pistons in the system. It didn't steal the one from my inventory, so it crafted everything it needs to go up. So you can use this for super high level stuff. You know, you need a tier 9 solar powered or a solar panel, right? You can have the system craft the mirrors you need, and then craft the tier 1 and the tier 2 and the tier 3 and the tier 4 and the tier 5 and the tier 6 and the tier 7 to get the tier 8, which needs the tier 9, or which needs the tier 8 to get to the tier 9. So it's a super way, as long as your system has the resources it needs, to just automatically craft everything you need, which in something like this where you want to kind of get big numbers of stuff, especially if we're going for the massive, what's the one achievement, like 1 million RF per tick? Something stupid like, yeah, 1 million RF per tick. We're going to want a lot of stuff's going on for that. So there we have that. The last thing that I'm going to show you very briefly is just the, or that you should need. I mean, I've shown you the pattern for this to get the higher level storage parts. So those would be essential. Upgrade to the 64 as quickly as you can, I would say, because then you're not worried about running out of space. You can just dump everything in the system. Let it import from everything that you're doing. But then the next way is, how do you interact with other mods? How do you, get things from this system into your power system? Like if I want to use up all my gunpowder on my explosive generator, right? How do I export those goods to that system? Or how do I input goods from my farmer or farming station so that it automatically picks up everything from my farms, all that essence that I've got there and wheat and all that sort of thing, and then have it stored in the system? Well, that's when you need your handy little exporter, which this takes things from the system and exports it somewhere. And this, you just need a construction core, an improved processor, and one cable. And that will give you the exporter. And then, why do I have two sets of cables? Shame on me. The opposite to that is the importer, which is basically the same, and it replaces the destruction core. Again, these are easy to make. And then all you need for these is, if we'll come over here, let's do a nice little, we'll get rid of my system a bit here. And we'll drop down some cables, and we've got, okay, so we've got our importer. And like I said, the importer pulls things from the system, right? So if we stick our importer onto this, does that actually connect? No, it doesn't. Okay, good. I was very worried when the Ender.io stuff did that. So you can see I've got all this sort of stuff in here, a couple 64 stacks right at the beginning. And then if we connect this to the system, we don't have anything in here for, like we don't have a grid filter or anything. So you can see this is starting to just pull things out of the system, and it's pulling gravel. So if we jump into here, we should be able to see our gravel number is jumping up. You can see it actually sorted by number here as it gets higher than the other things it's going. So this is how you can, we can have our cloche spit out into here if we wanted, or we could, hell, we could import directly from the cloche if we really wanted. And then we could just have it keep pulling everything in the system, or connect an importer to our farming station and go through there. So that, I mean, this is the basics of how to use refined storage. Now that you know how to do import, export, and craft things, you can tie this into other systems. Like, heck, we could get an autosieve going and have it set to only pull from the autosieve when we need more sand in the system, right? Or only export goods. Well, if you want numbers based on quantity, you want to explore the detector and the relay. The detector actually looks at the system and says how much, there's many things you can set on it, but one of the ones that I quite love is saying how much is in the system. As long as there is, and then whether it's at that number above or below, you can have it set it to do a redstone signal, which then the relay will read a redstone signal and will only connect the things past it, whether it sees or doesn't see the redstone signal. So it's a way that you can say, okay, don't pull anything from this cloche unless we have less than 256 redstone essence. And as soon as we have less than that, start pulling it till we're back up to that number. So you can ensure that your system's not overloaded with one thing that's consistently being made, especially if you've got a 24/7 server that's not that's always active, because then you might get on and your system's completely full with something that you don't really need that much more of. So very handy to use, but you can also set it up for, like, yeah, when the system sees that there is less than 500 sand, start the autosieve or start the sag mill up, right? So very handy things. I will be cleaning up this area a bit, moving my power over there, and putting a nice solid redstone, or not redstone, refined storage system up here. This is kind of my tinkering area. I'll have power over there, and then we will tie it in. You can also, if you don't want to run cables everywhere, there is the network transmitters and receivers that you can explore. They do require a significant amount of power, though, so you want to be careful about that. Just make sure that you don't have too much going on for power, because you'd hate to, your system, the bad thing about this system, I will preface this, if you run out of power, you cannot access anything in your system. So in situations like that, you may need to disconnect certain portions of your system to get your system generating or eating less power than is being generated, or you need to beef up your power generation. So definitely keep an eye on this here and make sure that you're not eating too much, because you can see even the other devices I've used, I've added 50% more power pull on this. So just got to be a little careful with that, guys. And you can see also I'm personally setting up a lower level here where if I need to, I can run some cables and put more of the unsightly stuff out of the way down below. So there's lots of fun. But that as a whole is refined storage. If you guys have any questions about that, I'd love if you threw them down below in the comments. I love helping everybody out. So throw your questions down there. Throw your comments. Is there something that I did horribly wrong? Like, call me out. I love chatting with you guys. I like to improve my own gameplay as well as yours. So I love hearing from you guys. If you have been enjoying this, if it has been helpful, please hit that like button to show us that it is helping you out. And yeah, if you want to see more of this content, hit that subscribe button. We're here every Monday with this tutorial series, as well as the other content that we've got on the channel. So come support the channel as a whole, guys. If you really want to help us out, consider checking out our Patreon page. You can make your way into our end credits of the video. Plus, we've got some other interesting tier stuff over there. So link is in the description below. And if you want to just join the community, our Discord link is down below. So come hang out with us, chat around. It's all good times. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.